motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping her motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping me motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping her motivated. We all need a little motivation. Keep all the real niggas motivated. Keep all them little niggas motivated. Maybach 600, it drove her crazy. Sure they gon' do it, she motivated. I've been neglecting the rover.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Smooth Podcast, simply motivating others onward through hope. Here to the left of me, I have Sean and Lee. What's going on, guys?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
I brought these two along just to have a conversation that's kind of been like a hot topic as of late, and it's something that like I bring up in my group chats a lot, and that is what exactly is corny. I think that we'll all have kind of different perspectives on the origins of it, of how it was created, what it is now. And I guess I'll just start with you guys first. So, Lee, if someone says that something or someone is corny, what is corny to you?
I personally think it's just something that they don't like. And when you have that influence, it's kind of easy to decipher what's corny to you. Like, you're really in control. Like, and it goes back to that saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yep.
Personally, because I could think something is corny, and you could think it's the flyest thing you've ever seen before. So it's all objective, in my personal opinion.
How about you?
Man, I think corny is when you're doing something that's outside of who you are as a person. Like, you're talking different. Like, I know as guys, like, we have like a running joke growing up, high school, like, oh, when the girls come around, you start talking different.
Yeah.
Or you start pulling out money. That's what I would like view as corny.
So then you would have to know who somebody is to call them corny then?
I think in today's society, I think people judge a book by its cover, but that's why the corny situation is kind of tough, because maybe that really is that person. If they're being true to themselves, how can they be corny? You know, so I guess it's kind of a little of a contradiction.
Okay. And now this is my thoughts, and we can kind of like expunge on the dialogue here. My thought of corny is the more that you stray away from hip-hop and urban culture, the cornier you are. What do you guys have to say about that?
What do you mean by that?
So, if you wear stuff that isn't Nike cool stuff, say if you wear, I don't know, any brand that isn't street affiliated, clothing styles that you don't see your favorite rapper wearing, speaking properly, not speaking in slang, people might say that's corny. You know, maybe taking care of your woman instead of treating her like whatever. Like, you know, when people talk about being on the phone with your girl, like, oh, he's corny. So that's the thing too. So whatever hip hop culture is at the time, the further that person is away from that hip hop culture, I feel like is what people's gauge is what's corny and what's not.
You want to go first?
I mean, I think that could go either way, too, because you could see somebody acting ratchet, and to somebody who doesn't act like that, that's corny. Why she twerking like that? Why she acting like that? Why she on the couch with the bottles like that? So I feel like it's all perspective. You know, like, I think anything that's not gangster is corny to a hood dude. But to somebody who's a professional, it's going to be corny that they see them acting ghetto hood in the club. So it just, I don't know. It's like catch-22.
So to interject, I agree with you, but for the other people, I'm not sure if they would call someone necessarily corny, though. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think that is a term that is just used
loosely
on like the inside out, not the outside in. Did you follow me?
No, I think so, because
like Bill Gates isn't walking around calling someone corny. You know what I'm saying?
No,
that's not even in his
that's
world.
Not his vocabulary. So no, I definitely get it. Because there's not many people. I feel like more people who aren't hood, when they get a taste of it, want to emulate that hood. They'll never call it corny. They'll be either scared of it or they feel like, oh, this is cool. I want to make that about me.
Right.
And I feel like the hood dude is kind of looking like, that dude's a square. He's corny. He's a corn. Like Russell Wilson. Like, does things the right way. Like, got the slick back hair. Like, you know, he's well-spoken. He showcases his lady off all the time. Stand-up guy. and he's not like, you know, when you think of prototypical black athlete, he doesn't fit that mold. So I think sometimes, like, harshly, people call him corny, get at him, judge him, and I don't think it's fair. But you know,
I mean, you have Nick Cannon. You got Joe Budden sometimes. You got Russell Wilson. Who else do we have on that? Like, everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have brought them up as being corny. Maybe like Terrence J-esque. With all the people that are deemed as corny, I feel like 95% of the people that do call them corny would trade seats with them in a heartbeat.
for sure. And I like that you said Nick Cannon, because I remember being a kid, like, you know, Nick Cannon, all that, like, he was the funny, corny kid. Like, you know, what's the movie, Love Don't Cost a Thing?
Yeah.
Classic.
Like, classic for sure. He was corny. But when I started, like, getting into, like, celebrities and, like, their life outside of, like, the music, I was like, dang, he has Kim Kardashian, he has this girl, he has that girl. I would never think that. So
Right.
I kind of get into that, too, of, like, just kind of judging a book by its cover. Like, you got Kim K, you got Mariah Carey, you're doing something right, you know? So it's all perspective.
It is, because I think Nick Cannon is corny. You know, I think the way he dresses is corny, but that's also because that's something I look for. So I guess that's just, I don't want to say that's just me, but when I see him, my first thought is, oh, he's a corn. Like, he got all these kids, like, he's a corny dude. Like, I would never, like, entertain something like that. So it's just kind of like, but then I look at Future and I'm like, I might. Even though he's doing the same thing as Nick Cannon, it's just his demeanor's a little, it's not corny.
So he comes off a little cooler, he's a little smooth.
Yeah,
So that's
you know.
all right. That's very, very interesting.
And that's just me being honest.
Yeah, no.
So-
We're here for it. We're here for it. So it kind of brings back my thing of the hip hop culture, right?
Yes.
Future, there's not more hip hop than Future, right? Yeah. So it's hard to call. He's doing whatever he's doing with the multiple baby mothers. So is Nick Cannon, but you're like, you know, Future, I would view differently as Nick Cannon.
Unfortunately.
And what do you say to that?
She told the truth. Like, we told the truth. She kept it 100, and that's all we could ask. So it's just like, it's just funny to me that, like you said, you broke it down. Like, Nick Cannon and Future, they do the same thing, but one presents
Nick Cannon's probably way richer too.
Yeah,
way richer.
yeah, for sure.
And it's like, but that's a good point. I feel like, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like in society, especially in like the urban society, like, it could be a great dude, got the bag, do the right thing, but, you know, he probably not in the club buying bottles. He probably don't got the nice chain, the nice watch, and the girls gonna disregard that guy, I feel, and go for the guy that's like, he's flashy or he's smooth. A lot of girls want him. Like, you know, he's a player. The girl's gonna say, hey, maybe I could change him.
Well, me personally, I don't like the flashy type.
Okay.
Like, me personally, if I could be a billionaire and nobody know my name, I would take that road, personally. Yeah. So it's like, I personally don't like the flashy, but it's just the way Future carries himself. Like, it's probably the style for me, but, you know, every time I hear Nick Cannon, I think of Love Don't Cost a Thing with the Jerry curl and I associate Nick Cannon with that. So it's just, I wouldn't say it's even the status. It's just, you know, the package. Look at Nick Cannon and look at Future.
Future got a little more swag, so you like the swag.
He look a little better.
That's fair.
Okay. And now, you know, is it safe for us to say, if you could go back in time and really pinpoint who said it first, would you guys think it was a girl or a guy that called somebody corny?
A guy.
Yeah, it probably is.
A guy to a guy?
Guys, being a guy, like, guys, like, if you don't fit a certain mold, like, you know, like, growing up when I was in high school, like, if you wasn't in I'm from New York, so there was a lot of gangs growing up. So if you wasn't a Blood, if you wasn't a Crip, or if you wasn't an athlete, like, you know, you kind of wasn't a part of any circles. And the guy who probably was a great person, funny, you know, did his schoolwork, wasn't involved in none of that, he probably didn't get as much attention as those guys. So I feel like, and the guys kind of make the social groups, like, you know, you'll roast a dude, you'll make fun of him, like, oh, look at his sneakers, like what is he doing? You don't play no sports, you ain't get no money, you can't fight. So it's all those stereotypes that we put on guys that don't fit the mold, and the girl is always gonna go after or be more attracted to who she thinks the it guy is. So I think it probably did start with a guy.
Yeah. And isn't that kind of contradictory in itself? Because isn't it corny to even worry about some other guy?
Oh yeah.
For sure. And I feel like when you, so I got all different type of friends. I got friends that like, you know, do their thing in the street. I got friends that like, you know, that go to work every day. Like, you know, so big portfolio for me. And sometimes like we have these arguments and we go, I think you was even part of one day in our group chat, and we kind of go back and forth, and it's just like, you don't understand my lifestyle, neither do I understand yours. And sometimes when you don't understand something, it tends to cause a little friction, or you tend to hate on it. So it goes both ways.
And I feel like guys have it very hard. You know, women, we could be anything we want to be. You could be the bad girl. You could be the it girl. But with guys, it's just, you're either this or that. You know? So I feel like you guys got a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more complex for you guys.
And, you know, going off of what you said earlier, like, it seems like, I'm not saying every girl, but there is a certain lane for girls wanting, you know, the guy that might be more hood or be in the streets, even if he has less money than more of the straight and narrow guy.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is like, the straight and narrow guy is going to provide more stability, stuff like that. So, I don't know, it's very interesting.
No, it is true. Like, I even have friends where, like, he don't own a gun, I'm not talking to him. And I'm like, at this big age, like, wait, if it's not for, like, protecting the business, you know, transporting, like, money, like, something like that, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you know, so it's real. Like, you guys' group chat is probably just as crazy as women. I feel like women got bad. Like, it's bad. You know, even some of the things I hear, I'm just like, you said that? Like, that's something I would expect from a man. Right. So, times is changing. Women are evolving.
So, growing up, I'm so fortunate that I had, like, my father in my life. And, you know, he stayed on my ass about, like, getting good grades and stuff like that. So, when you get good grades, when you get, like, especially, like, straight A's and stuff like that, you're automatically classified as, like, a nerd, which is, like, borderline corny, right? like, you're teetering here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, my dad instilled in me, like, yo, in 10, 20 years, those same people that are saying you're a nerd or whatever, like, yo, they're either going to be working for you or, yo, not for nothing, like, you're just going to be shitting on them. You know what I mean? And, excuse my French, but it's like, it actually came true. I put all my faith in my father, so, like, he never steered me wrong. And, like, you know, all the people back in the day, and I don't know what camera I'm looking at, but all the people back in the day that did, you know, have something to say about, you know, how I got good grades and how I went home right after school. I wasn't hanging on the corner right after school. Like, at this point, it's like, yo, I wouldn't trade my life with any of this, like, at all. So what would you say to say you have a son? How would you want your son to be? Would you want him to be like Future? Or would you want him to be like Nick Cannon?
Honestly, in a perfect world, because I know realistically it's probably gonna happen, I would kind of want him exposed to a little bit of both. Like, I want him to get the good grades, but I also want him to be able to conduct himself around those types of people. Like, I don't want to say kind of adjust, because, you know, people see me, like, I'm tatted up, but I work a corporate job. And it doesn't make sense to them. You know, like, when I show up, it's like, how does she do that? Because I don't look the part. So I just want him to be able to be himself, but still know how to maneuver and navigate. Being the having a little hood, but also being smart. I always tell my godson, like, it's okay to be smart. It's okay to like school. But you're going to go to school looking fly. You're going to be the flyest nerd in the school. So, you know, just, I want him to kind of just know how to adapt and adjust. Code switch, so to say. I don't know. Even though it's exhausting.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you put that well said.
Thank you.
But I think the same way, like, make it cool. Like, you know, like, don't let nobody tell you what's not cool. Like, the same thing you went through. I remember in school, like, I did good in school, and I remember it was the cool thing to be dumb. Like, damn, why you want to be so you fail? But, like, you know, you just be witty enough. Like, I've always been good with my words. So I've been witty enough to be roast them back. Like, yo, you got a 0. Like, you roasted me. Like, so you just kind of got to be like that. Be confident. I agree. Like, best of both worlds. Well, one thing my father always taught me is like, you should be so well versed that you could fit in any room. You can have a conversation with anyone. So if to my future son, like, you know, just preparing them for that, exposing them to everything, like, you know, guiding him, showing the difference between right and wrong, so he knows, like, all right, I'm aware that this happens and what this is about, but this is where I want to go. So you make your lifestyle cool.
And just explaining to piggyback on that, it's like there's people who really have no other choice but the streets, and then there's people who choose the streets. And I always wondered, like, why would you take that way? Like, there's people who don't want that lifestyle. And
I have a question for you. Out of, you know, the people that say other people are corny and stuff like that, what percent do you think would actually trade off if they had a choice? And like she said, like, a lot don't have a choice, right? Like, whatever life they live, whether it be the 9-to-5 guy calling the street guy corny because he just can't be a street guy, like whatever lane it is, what percent of someone calling the other person corny, what percent do you think have like a small piece of them that's like, damn, I wish I could like hop over there and kick it with him, or be absorbed in that lifestyle over there, but I'm just so over here that I can't?
A lot, I would say, because it's like a lot of dudes that come from like uncompromised situations, and I'll add females too, because like, you know, females can be bullies too, and like single out females because certain females because they don't look a certain way or act a certain way. But it's like when you jealous or envious or something, but you're more confident at the moment, you're gonna do everything in your power to break that person down, to try to big yourself up, even though in the back of your mind is like, damn, he really is doing a good job. He really is. The outfit's really fire. But if I let him know, it's gonna seem like he's better than me. So I think it's just an insecurity. So
I definitely think more than most people admit, you know, because you got to even think about, we're in the BBL era, and then we're also in the natural Coil Ray era. So it's kind of just, some people think that's corny, some people think BBLs are corny. So it's just, we're never going to be able to please everybody. Right. We can't please the masses.
Right. And I don't know about here in Rhode Island, but I remember growing up in like the high school era, the popular jacket that you could have was a Mama. It was called the Merm. It was probably like $400+, and if you didn't have a Merm, you wasn't cool. But then if you had a North Face, it's like, ew, you got a North Face.
Right.
Well, in hindsight, the North Face cost the same as the Merm. So it's just people, because you didn't have it, probably even more, but because you had this, you had to big up this and not celebrate that. So,
but it also makes you wonder, like, who chose that coat versus the North Face?
Exactly.
You know, like, who said this is the one you should have to be the it? It's in style. Like, who writes the rules? Like, I always wondered, like, who said that was hot? Why is this trending now? Like, who said? You know? And I would never understand that.
Well, giving it some thought, who do you guys think?
I think kind of back to what we said, like kind of wanting our son to have the best of both worlds is kind of like, you make it popular. There's certain people that could wear anything, and they could go in a room and like what you have on right now, I could never see myself wearing it.
You want to wear pink pants? I'm just kidding.
But I'm like, but even to the hat, the hairstyle, the sneakers, and so I'm like, yo, this is fire.
Thank you.
But you made it hot. Like, a lot of people won't wear that, but you made it popular. So some girl that may kind of look similar to you, she's like, oh, Lee wore it like this. Let me try to put together that fit. So just kind of make whatever you do, own it, your brand, popularize it. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. And that's kind of what sets the trends.
That's true. It's definitely influence.
Yeah.
And then we got social media. Like, as long as you got, 100K followers, you could be like, raise the hottest one in Providence. Everyone, like, this is the it guy. Now, watch how many people, watch how many girls sign your DM.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could be like, he's the corniest dude ever. Now they're going to see him and be like, oh, he's corny. Don't talk to him. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy to control people.
Control people,
You know? It's sick.
That's a fact. And that's really what I think it is. I think it's, you know, people that don't have, you know, self-esteem, positive self-esteem, influencing other people that don't have positive self-esteem. Because if you have, you know, if you're kind of like gun-holed on your values and like how you deem people and how you treat people, somebody else telling you something like that, like, oh, that person's corny, you know, you would listen, but you want your own opinion. Absolutely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you heard it, if someone told you that somebody was corny, right? by now all of Rhode Island would be corny. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No,
So it's
absolutely.
like
We're all
so
corny.
you gotta have your own mind when it comes to it. And you know, I've learned that time and time again just from like being outside, just like, oh, this person's corny, oh this, and then like they'll go and they'll be dapped up and like chilling at the bar, and it's like, yo, didn't he just
Say that.
Yeah, like I don't know.
He trying to make himself cooler,
Right.
messing with
Right.
others, yeah.
Right. But and one thing I also wanted to bring up, I think that calling someone a corny person, I think we should watch that, and I think what we should do instead is say what they did was corny.
Right.
Because everyone can change, right? Like if I tomorrow, you know, do the whole money phone thing, that's corny as hell, right? like I deserve all the backlash for that. But say if the next day I go and I do a fundraiser for the kids and feed a bunch of homeless people, like, am I still corny? Like, no. So like what I did with the money phone was corny, but that doesn't necessarily make me a corny person.
Yeah, I agree.
But it also goes back because there's people that think that's cool. There's people who'll see you with the money phone and like, look at Ray, I gotta make money. Like, I gotta post this picture.
True.
And then there's probably people like us, we're like, why he flashing all that cash? You know what I'm saying? Like, put that away.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm telling you, it's, I don't know.
Perspective.
It is.
Perspective. And like, kind of being around, like I'm 33, 32, and kind of, if I'm around somebody 10 years younger than me, just the way they view how they should do something and what's cool. And I'm like, I could never do that. Like, this kid is cool. I'll say this is corny. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But to them, that's what they feel like they need to do to promote themselves.
Yeah.
So like, who are we to say, like, you know?
Yeah.
Times have certainly changed. This younger generation, because I'm 32 also, so it's like I'll see some of the things these kids are doing, and I'm like, that's corny. Like, I'll catch myself saying that's corny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this younger generation is, I don't know. I'm a little worried, a little concerned.
But I think it comes with age, because I remember like we used to wear like literally wear name belts with the name coming
we were way worse than that. We were way worse than that. We had the light up name thing, like that. Like we were way worse than them.
Oh my gosh.
So I mean, to almost wrap up this corny stuff. I think that it's important for everyone to be themselves, to make their own opinions, to make their own assumptions. Because at some point you're gonna get called corny. You're gonna hear someone else get called corny, and it's gonna be up to you to be like self-sufficient enough to be like, "Yo, this is how I live," and take it or leave it.
For sure.
You hit it right on the nose. I remember day trail, like some of the first few day trails. I wore an aqua like teal blue wig. Everybody, I'm serious. I don't know what made me go into the beauty supply store and buy that wig. I had no business wearing that wig. So I remember it was long, and then everyone was like, "Why? That's corny. That's corny." Now look at this. Everybody's in lace fronts. I used to wear snapbacks. Everyone was like, why is she wearing a hat? That's so corny. Now you see girls wearing fitteds was not a thing. So it's just like, I don't know. Kylie Jenner wore the colorful wigs, and now it was popping.
I mean, how many Kanye West sneakers were corny when we first saw like the SketchUp?
Now look,
you know what I mean?
everybody owns Kanye, like Yeezys, like that's just the it shoe.
Yeah, yeah.
People even call Kanye corny.
Right.
I mean, I think he did some corny things, but I don't think he's a corny person.
Right. So speaking of doing corny things, Ja Morant. I'm gonna kind of dish the ball to Dot. So, for the viewership that doesn't know, do you want to tell a little bit about what's going on with Ja Morant?
So Ja Morant, starting point guard, all-star point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies, about 2 weeks ago, was on Instagram Live after a game against the Denver Nuggets, showcasing a gun in a strip club, throwing off his chain, his platinum teeth, and kind of threw the gun up. And he looked like a little rapper. Threw the gun up. Initially, everybody, social media, I think that's the real reason why anything ever happened. Like, social media went crazy. Like, Ja Morant did this, da-da-da. So then the police got involved. Memphis got involved. So ultimately, they ruled to keep Ja Morant away from, not suspended, but keep him away from the team for a couple of games, just until the situation gets settled and if there's anything pending an investigation. So the conversation now around that is Ja Morant acting quote unquote hood? Like, there's been memes, there's been Twitter posts, IG posts of Ja Morant comes from two-family household, grew up in the suburbs, went to a private school. There's no need to be doing this. So that's kind of like the snapshot of what's been going on.
I think we got to give him some grace.
Okay.
He was born in 1999, correct?
I
He's
believe
22, 23.
Yep.
23.
Yep, he's young. Yep.
We got to give him a little grace. It's almost like he don't know no better. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't think he knows any better.
Okay.
You know, because that video was just intense. Like, when I watched it, I was just like, oh, he's wilding.
Yeah.
But I personally feel like he was going to be, like, the face of the NBA. Like, he was there, and he kind of got
he just gotta once they dropped Kyrie, they kind of picked up Ja Morant as like as the new athlete for Nike. So he had a Powerade deal. So a lot of black athlete get a Coca-Cola deal. Like, that's kind of like unheard of. So yeah, he had a lot of great things going for him. The thing with Ja is just like, and I get it, like we all did dumb things at 23 years old, but sometimes it's just like, I feel like with all the resources that people have access to now and all the mistakes that like kind of the athletes and rappers we looked up to made, it's like, if you know, like, you know.
Yeah.
And there's this thing, I forget who said it, but it's a famous sports analyst. It's like, don't hit send. He made the decision. It wasn't like he was caught with the gun.
Right. He
made the decision to press live. You have to wait for the live to load. It loaded, and he showed the gun. So
maybe he was a little late.
Might have been. So.
We all had them posts where like, why did I post that?
Yeah, true.
So he was definitely lit. But one thing I will say, the minute you start making millions of dollars and you're feeding your family, it's now bigger than you. Every single action that you take is now bigger than you. That's one. The second thing is he's kind of showing his ass, because if he really was this guy, he wouldn't act like that. Because there's plenty of guys like that in the NBA that you don't see a peep from. There's a reason why he wants to post it. So, for instance, if he wants to post it, why do y'all think he wants people to see that?
Because he wants that image. Like, you know, I'm a basketball player. I'm from the mud. I'm from the trenches. I made it out. I'm not to be messed with.
But if you really were, would you do that?
No. And the thing about Ja, like, there's been athletes who kind of come from like a dark background, and it's just like they're not intentional as him, but it's just like, damn, they just can't escape trouble. But it's not that for him.
But I agree with Ray. Like, if you got it on you, you're not gonna be in a club telling everybody you got it on you. If something was to transpire.
I mean, there's probably 50% of the league coming from some ghetto in America, some hood in America, dealing with all the things that these rappers talk about. Yet Ja Morant is the only one on live with the gun.
For sure. No, I agree. I think it's the circle. Like, you gotta have like you said, it's tough being famous. It's tough. Imagine being a millionaire. Like, you know, you got so many people around you. Like, you could make any decision, and everybody's gonna say okay because you're Ja Morant. But kind of, I feel like your inner circle is what has to be important, because you need that person to be like, yo, let's have fun, but be careful. You know what's at stake. You know?
And the craziest thing about this whole dynamic is that his father travels to like every game. So you would initially think, okay, his dad's around the whole time. He should be steering him right from wrong. But the father's attitude and just the, behavior that he exhibits, it's almost like he's taking this as like his second wind, like his second chance of living the high life, which is actually like detrimental to Ja, because now instead of a father figure that's telling him right from wrong, he's having a best friend that's just like, let's do it. Yeah. Like, whatever you want to do,
that's
we out.
Dangerous.
No, for sure. And at 23, you kind of still need that guidance and that leadership in your life.
I don't know when I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Even thinking back, like, when you guys were younger, like, we looked up to the OGs. We liked having that go-to, like, passing down that knowledge. So it's just like, why does this generation not seek that knowledge? It's like, I'm not going to him. I'm going to figure it out on my own. They want to get it out. They want to get it on their own. They want to figure everything out on their own. So it's like, to not be able to go to your father figure who's supposed to steer you in the right direction, and now he's sitting there like, turn up, here's the gun. Go ahead, post the video. It's kind of like...
And the crazy thing about that whole dynamic is every game his father's there. Like, he's on the court, drinking, dapping up whoever's famous in the crowd. But now that this situation happened, the father hasn't said anything. So I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but I noticed he hasn't made a comment. He hasn't came out in defense. He even said, like, this is not my son.
He got to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
He's got to be embarrassed. Like, because everyone is probably looking at him like, yo, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it gets to a point where you're rooting for him. You want the best for him. But it's just like, all right, when do you just kind of like, all right, you made your bed, now you got to lay in it. Like, you had all these opportunities to do well. You didn't do it. Like,
well, right. Now I feel like this is his chance. Like, so he'll be back next week. He'll be back playing. He'll be back for the playoffs. He didn't lose any of his deals. Like, Nike ain't going to cut him. They need that ROI.
Well, Coca-Cola. Or they suspended
They paused the commercial,
okay,
so they didn't suspend it yet. So kind of now, when he comes back, he'll need that PR team. He'll say the right stuff, and we'll see how. But this is his last chance. We'll see what he does moving forward. But it's just... Ja, man, just give me that 230, man. I'll never, damn.
All right, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why do you guys think it was so wrong? Like, what made that video so wrong?
Because when you're a professional athlete, like, a lot of kids look up to you.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of kids that play basketball now that do the gritty because of Ja Morant. And being a black man, we don't get to, growing up, I didn't see a lot of, like, black athletes in a Powerade, Coca-Cola commercial. Like, for the most part, the most popular sneaker when I was a kid was Jordan. It wasn't you had your one-offs, like you get the Pippins, you get whatever you want. But now he's like, aside from LeBron, he's like, all right, you're one of the people next up to be the face of Nike.
Okay.
So it's just like, it's a lot of people looking up to you that kind of gonna say, hey, when I get older, I want to be like Ja Morant. Is that what you want to portray?
But why don't we hold rappers to that same caliber? Why is it acceptable? It's more okay. Like, we expect it from rappers. We expect them to have the guns and the money, but Ja still, if they're not looking up to Ja, they're looking up to Dirk.
So that's a great point. That's a great point, but I feel like rap, for the most part, the way I looked at rap was rap is entertainment. And while as a kid, I'm not gonna lie, I thought a lot of the stuff was true, but it's like, all right, he's just speaking about a life he grew up or what he's experiencing, and he's saying it in his music. For somebody who plays sports, I was always taught, like, you go to the basketball court, you go to the football field, you go to the baseball field to escape whatever you got going on from the dangers of your community. So you don't necessarily want to see that in basketball.
Okay.
So that's the difference for me, at least.
And basketball's also like a business I'm learning.
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't really understand it until this situation, because I'm like picking people's brains, like, what is the big deal? You like, at first I was kind of just like,
so if you're Coca-Cola or you're Nike, you wouldn't mind your player that you just gave a whole bunch of money waving a gun on Instagram Live?
Oh no, you're a liability.
Okay,
so that's how they're looking at it.
But don't Drake got sprayed or something? Drake got a little gangsta all of a sudden.
Yeah, but Drake is like, so whether it's fair or not, and I get your point, they kind of look at the rapper like, all right, if you always hear rappers talk about all the time, like, it's like the record label set us up. But I
don't mean to cut you off. I didn't ever think about it like that. Though.
Yeah,
I mean to like hinder, but
it took me back. And I'll even throw some pushback, because you were like, oh, like rapping's entertainment, so is sports.
Yeah.
True.
It's tough.
It's tough. That was a great question.
Isn't there like a ball player that raps and it's corny because he's a ball player and not a rapper? But what's the issue? I forgot. There was like some ball player that made like a song and everybody was like, why is he rapping?
Yeah. No, there's a few out there that I know. Miles Bridges. He had.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's another crazy one.
Yeah.
Real life.
Yeah.
But it's just so aside from that, and very good point again. But I just think, I go back to the question of why. Like, you putting it. So let's say, for instance, you flash that gun on the Instagram Live where you was lit. All right, fair enough. We all lit and do dumb stuff. But let's say you get into a fight. Something happens. Somebody shot. That's not even your gun. You flashed it. Now because you're the most famous person, you're on trial for an attempted murder or murder just because you want to involve yourself in that type of stuff. So.
But what if he was carrying around for protection? Look at PNB. Nipsey, like, what if they're really just trying to protect? What if he had a little deuce on him just to protect himself?
You could definitely have it.
He's in Denver. That's not his city.
No, you could definitely have it.
Yeah, but not flash.
But not flash.
Ray's like, hold on. Hold on.
The gang signs and all that.
The gang sign. Wait, is he in a gang?
He was throwing up. See, I don't know what it means, but he was. But that the thing is,
Okay, that's the real problem in my eyes. Like
the gang stuff.
They don't have a problem with that. The real gang members.
But so they were saying. So I was watching this podcast. It's a football podcast. A bunch of players in the NFL.
Yeah, we don't name other podcasts. Yeah.
Oh my bad. I'll
let you go ahead. I'll play with you. I'll play with you.
But Antonio Brown, who's on the Eagles now, he used to play for the Tennessee Titans. So there's like kind of like those Memphis ties. And he's just like, so when you're an athlete, the first people that's kind of, aside from the fans, that's going to gravitate towards you is the community. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, all the high rollers, the rappers, like, you know, the top level drug dealers, they want to be around you. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to get sucked into that lifestyle, but you kind of got to filter, like, you know, don't be around them, but know right from wrong and like the position you may put yourself in or your family or the people that you take care of in. So that's all.
But he's 23.
Yeah, he's 23. He's definitely 23. So I don't think it should be like cancel, no, never forgive him, never play again, but definitely a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he can take all this as a learning experience and I don't know, maybe get a new set of friends or something that can kind of like oversee stuff. Because just from like a business standpoint, like just from like Ja, what do you care more about? Like doing this on Instagram Live or making millions more dollars than you would have made? Right. Like just on that fundamental, okay, then you need to do this and stop doing that. You know what I mean? And I think that what a lot of people don't get, especially, you know, when it comes to the music or it comes to basketball, NFL, you sign up to be someone that people are going to look at 24/7. Whether that's in the contract or not, you're now in the public eye. You're now going to get scorned. You're now, every little thing that you do inside, outside your house, you do have to act like people are going to know about it and people are going to see it.
And that's for sure. And I learned that. So just to kind of give like a little story. So I played basketball in college and I remember like when Twitter was first, like probably my junior year, that's when Twitter was first like getting popular. And I remember ASAP Rocky or ASAP Mob line, I tweeted, I smoke so much purple I shit green. Or that was Lloyd Banks, I want to say. I smoke so much purple I shit green. Mm-hmm. And then I had like a little feud with the women's team. And then just to kind of as a way to get me in trouble, like all of my tweets, which were rap lyrics, they went and they showed the AD. Oh, wow. So I had a meeting with the AD. I actually ended up getting suspended some games for it. But the biggest song was like, why? Like, I didn't do anything. Like, these is rap songs. Right. But he just said, like, when you're a student athlete, you just hold to a different standard because the whole university is kind of looking up to you. So imagine that at that small college. Imagine an NBA player that got the whole world looking up to him, you know?
Okay, I can understand that.
It's just you sign up for something bigger than you, whether you like it or not. That's just how it is. Like that is exactly how it is. Like,
and you're definitely being watched a little closer.
And I mean, to be honest with you, if you ever plan on doing anything, you know, of like great significance, like you have to carry yourself like that. You do. Like if I plan on in the next 5 years, like going crazy with what I got going on, like. Yeah, people might look in the past and say, oh, like Ray said this or Ray did that. And I have to be prepared to like, you know, argue about that. But it's just like your actions, especially in the social media age, like they won't die. Like you might you might wake up the next morning like, oh, I ain't drunk anymore. But guess what? Everything that you posted last night, that is going to live forever.
It's in the group chat.
It's going to live forever. So
and like Lee said earlier, like, you know, he's 23. So this stuff now that I think like, when I go to tweet or go to write something or even post something, I'm like, let me delete that. Let me not post it. Or let me put it a different way. Whereas as 23, I would have let it go. Right. I would have just whatever came to my mind, I would have said. So, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would do podcasts at a strip club, though.
Oh, yeah, you remember that? That was a good one.
Wait.
Ray trying to stop me.
Just
don't get me talking about that, man.
I'm like, can I come on that one, too?
Oh, man, we had a dope one.
Retired. You did a podcast in the strip club?
We did a podcast in the strip club, man. Shout out Silhouettes, man. They hosted us, fed us. Yeah, so.
And you got food?
Got food, shrimp, fish, all of that. Good night.
But back on Ja Morant. So would you say that his actions were corny?
Yeah, that was corny.
Corny now? Did we sway you or are you still holding?
I don't know if I could call call him corny. I could also be a little biased because I do like Ja Morant, but it's also like, who are we? We don't know how he really came up. Like, he's from what, South Carolina? Like, maybe he did. Maybe this is him.
No. So I don't think he's corny.
But
I think
the actions. Okay.
was.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say that, especially when you're an influencer, like, you know, kids are looking up to you. I can understand that from a business standpoint.
He just came out with his own Nike sneaker.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's levels. You know what I'm saying?
There
Like
is.
if you're like a bench player, like I still wouldn't do it as a bench player because you're still getting paid from a huge organization.
Yeah.
But there's levels to it. Like he's probably arguably top 5 most popular basketball players right now. So there's levels
I would
to
say
it.
his actions are corny. That was corny. Like you said, when you're at that caliber, you got to move different. You got to move smarter.
And as we close things out, I just want to have a little bit of fun. We'll go with ladies first. Lee, in recent memory, what has been the corniest thing you have ever done?
Oh my gosh, we gonna be here all night. I'm just kidding. No, I would say beefing with girls on social media. I would
Is this
say
what social media is this?
Twitter and Instagram. You guys, I get bullied a lot on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like, it's really bad. Like, my DMs, like...
I feel like you get fake bullied. I feel like you look like you get fake bullied.
What? These girls be attacking me. I don't know who it is, whoever.
Fake pages?
Yes. And it's just like, I don't understand how many people... Like, how do you guys have this many emails? Like, you wake up wanting to ruin my day. And sometimes it gets to me, which is why I lash out. But, you know, like, I just have to learn to control my emotions.
Yeah.
That's by far the corniest thing. I think I'd give.
So after you're done, all right, do you just like delete everything the day
Yes,
after?
and my friends, they change my passwords. They'll take
So
my.
you don't do it.
Yeah, because
That's
I'll
a
keep
good circuit
going.
That's
right
what
there.
John needs.
Yeah,
That's exactly what John
'Cause
needs.
I was
There you
John
go.
with the gun. I'm just kidding.
There you go. That's exactly what John
But
needs.
no, my people will
That's
shut
good.
it down
for sure.
quick.
Yeah.
How about you?
I've never been crazy on the social media, so I can't say that. But I mean, I feel like when I was younger, I kind of had like a higher pitched voice. So when I'm talking to a little girl or something like that, I make my voice deeper, try to sound a little cool. So I think that was pretty corny back
Nah,
then.
you gotta give me a better one than that. There's not one guy.
I spoke
There's not one
myself.
guy that's never done that. Like, nah, I'm
Hold on,
not
bass in
rolling.
your voice.
Nah, that you name something that every guy does. Like, nah, we're not rolling with that.
Oh, so everywhere I be doing that.
Every guy does that.
Make their voice.
Eddie, you ever made your voice deeper? He has a voice, and he has a deep voice, and he still would make it deeper. So yeah, I'm not rolling with that. Everybody does that.
Shit. Like, I'm trying to think. Like,
You just uncorny all the
nah.
time.
Definitely corny. Definitely. So I would say. Oh, so in college I had I had a white girlfriend. She's white and Dominican, but she was like kind of more so on the white side. She wasn't really like into hip hop.
Okay.
And I remember I had we got into a fight, and then I took I forget what song it was, but I took a love hip hop song, and I told her I wrote this for you. So I kind of lied. It wasn't me. So I guess you could call that corny.
Okay.
I was lying. I took
She
somebody's
never
word.
figured that out.
Never figured it out.
Wow.
So this was before the era of being able to search. You could still search, but people didn't go right to Twitter or Google to verify if he was telling the truth. So I guess that was kind of corny.
Mm-hmm. Now, who in your family, Lee, is the corniest? What person in your family?
My father.
I'm not even sure if I want her to expand on that.
Why everybody get quiet? You guys are like,
Nah, I don't know.
well then. No, but definitely my dad.
So I'm gonna ask why. Feel free not to answer it, but I'm gonna ask why. Why is he corny?
Because he thinks he's LL Cool J. Like, he still wears the Kangol with the Adidas, no strings.
See, I don't see that as being corny.
That's the OG.
Wait. Isn't that his official him? Like, isn't that really him?
Maybe, but it's tired, Dad. It's tired.
I thought she was about to say like he left me when I was 2.
I mean,
like,
that too. I have abandonment issues because of my father, so he's corny.
I see.
I see.
Okay.
That's fair.
That I rock with.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just the icing on the cake.
You can't wear the
though.
Kangol hat and do that. I get what you
My
mean.
father is
I
the
get what you mean.
definition of a F boy. He
Gotcha.
was Future before there was a Future.
Got you.
On steroids.
You try to learn from somebody, right?
But yet, who are you attracted to?
Oh yeah. All right. That's another podcast.
I'm getting my clinician on. How about you? Corniest family member?
I got a cousin, man. Like he's like a promoter, if you want to call it that, but just thinks he's famous. Like can't even have a regular conversation without like slang being in every sentence. Just like documents everything. He puts the camera like this, and just the way he talks, the way he goes about it. Just you would think he's famous, and it's just like, bro, just get a grip, man.
Yeah.
It's just one of those.
Yeah.
Not gonna drop his name. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm gonna do it like that.
Yeah. Now, last but not least, Lee, if you were doing something that others perceived as corny, would you want them to bring it up to you, or would you want it to be more of a they think it, but they don't say anything and they're still just rocking with you?
Oh no, definitely say it. I'm big on open dialogue, and I feel like not everything has to be an argument, you know, because I'll respect you more if I hear from you versus you telling him that you think I did something corny. So I always try to create a space where people is comfortable coming to me and being like, Lee, let me holler at you. Without, you don't gotta yell at me, you don't gotta tell me, even you gotta text it to me because you don't want to tell me to my face. Like, I just respect it so much more when somebody comes to me, because I would give you that respect and that decency.
No, I want to know. Like, I wouldn't say like I'm self-conscious, but I feel like I'm a shy, low-key person. So I would never want to do anything to put myself out there and make me look foolish. Yeah. So definitely let me know.
Yeah. For me on that, there's like circles, right? Like there's people that you talk to every day. There's the people that you got love for. And then there's people that's like more like you see them out and it's like love. And it's like, so it's like you got to be within like a 2-3 circle of mine to get that okay. Other than that, like I don't really care about what you think. You know what I'm saying?
You got a valid point.
Like if Joe Smo is just like, yo, Ray, I think what you did here was corny. It's like, who are you? You know? Like, but if it's like one of my boys I talk to every day, it'll probably hit a little different. You know what I'm saying?
No, same here. Like obviously, I wouldn't care like somebody that has no effect on their opinion doesn't hold weight to me. But like somebody that, like you said, near and dear to me, like let me know. Like I want to correct it. You know.
As we wrap this up, any last thoughts? Anything at all?
This is good. You got my thoughts are kind of going right now. I'm trying to gather them, but no. To your last point, like my sister Willie and like one other dude, like their opinions, like you said, hold a little bit. Yeah. It hits a little different when they tell me I'm wilding. So I just think it's all perception. My advice to everybody would just be like, do you, be yourself. That's what people like. You know, like be your true, authentic self, and if they're gonna judge you regardless. So just wear what you want to wear, do what you want to do. I mean, be mindful if you're Ja Morant, because he can't do what you want to do, but you know, just be yourself. Right.
And for those out there that like might feel like they've been called corny or like might perceive themselves as corny, the best remedy is success, because success means that whatever corniness you're doing or the way about you clearly is working. So success kills all the corny noise, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. Like, you know, thanks again for having me, Lee. Yay. Good points, man. Good all around podcast. So, this was fun.
Yeah. Until next time, y'all stay smooth.